We know from our report last week that smallmouth reposition. And I've got an example of that for you this week as well. But smallmouth also migrate, and there is a summer migration that is happening right now, and we're going to talk about the migration triangle. Although the smallmouth bass migration into the St. Clair River channels isn't as strong as it was a decade ago, there is still movement. That creates a situation where the bass collect on spots in a definable zone. In this case, I call it the smallmouth migration triangle. While it is not the shooting gallery it once was, it is reliable. You can confirm this yourself by seeing how bass boats position in this area. Fishing here can change a day where you are wondering what spots to fish to, what are the best spots to fish. The high north winds kept us from exploring the action on the leading edge. We instead focused on spots in the north edge of the triangle. To put a percentage on it, I would say the migration is 10% underway and should show an increase over the next 2 weeks. But there are areas in the lake and river that are fishing stronger at this time. The best spot we found all day was next to the triangle. I hooked a 4-pound smallie near this area, but couldn't tolerate staying on the spot while taking waves over the bow the whole time. Although the following catch wasn't a smallmouth, here's an example of how the migration works. Well, a white bass might not be very exciting to most, but when you're talking about the migration pattern, we're here in the migration triangle area, and these guys came all the way up the Detroit River just to visit us up here in Snai. Been looking for them for a couple weeks. They're here now. That's a good sign that the smallmouth are on the move too. Ever have one of those days where the smallies won't stay hooked? The first thing I think of is, what did I do wrong? Was it the hook, hook set, line, rod, retrieval gear ratio, or something like that? I'm here to tell you that it may be none of the above. Sometimes it comes down to the smallmouth bite. One indication I had on this trip was when a smallmouth came off of a treble hook. That shouldn't have happened. By the end of the day, we lost as many or more bass than we caught. Is there something you can do about it? First, it's important to realize early on it's not your fault. For anglers who are competitive or very experienced, they have confidence in equipment that has been thoroughly tested. They know it's not about their hook set or equipment. In our case, we realized it about halfway through the day, and by the end of the day, one presentation stood out that never lost us a fish: the drop shot. Last week, we talked about smallmouth schools that reposition. We visited one of those spots this week, and we ended up with average smallies where the big ones were the week before. Here is where we were casting and catching both weeks. Once we put the underwater camera down, we found where the school of big bass had repositioned. They were about 40 feet away and closer to the edge of the channel. On another river spot, we blanked where we caught them last week in deeper water, but found them about 20 yards downstream, high up on a sandy flat. The bite was quiet in the middle channel and north channel this week. It's time to say goodbye to the post-spawn period and hello to the summer bite. God bless and good fishing.